war of justice. We're seeing that these criminal illegal aliens are exiting the jails and going back onto New York or Chicago or these other sanctuary streets to re-perpetuate their crimes. Today, in New York City's jails are 7,169 criminal illegal aliens. We're talking about hundreds of murderers, hundreds of sexual predators, drug traffickers, the worst of the worst. Dan Goldman and these other sanctuary city politicians, they should agree to hand over those individuals, honor those detainers, and then we won't have to flood the zone with our ICE law enforcement. We won't have to put those men and women on the ground because we will get these vicious criminals out of New York City's jails.
Right. It's
Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only James Williams, Dark Waters, and I'm back. And, you know, finally, America is on a full offensive. I mean, I'm over the moon at the fact that the Donald Trump administration is on a full out offensive attack against the deep state. I guess it took for the terrorism to land at home. I guess it took for the actual people, the pundits who knew what they were talking about, to scream and holler. I guess it took for his poll numbers to drop, for the pride to be broken in Donald Trump, where he thought everything was going well. It took to penetrate that Praetorian guard that he had that would not allow people to speak to him, for him to get the freaking message. But oh boy, have they got the message. Have they got the message? And I want to start with this. Scott Bassett announces that he's removing illegal aliens from the financial system completely. That means he's removing tax benefits and cross-border money transfers. This is the most important thing there is, because it removes the incentive for them even being here. If you can't transfer money home, what's the point of coming to America? The whole point of them coming to America was to make money so they could send money home to their family members. I've said this from day one. This was the first thing that we should have done. The first thing we should have did was say, okay, all that money that's going home to Mexico, to Honduras, to Venezuela, to Peru, to Haiti, all that's all paper. All that come out, get rerouted right to the national debt and pay off our debt. And now that they're doing it, I fully anticipate the incentives for people to stick around. They're just done. There's no, if I came here to make money, to send money back home to my family, I mean, it does me no good. Now it's uncomfortable for me. I got to be pursued. I can't go out where I want to go out. I get picked up by ICE. And on top of that, you go on the work site. So I'm under this feeling of terror, which they should be, because I'm here illegally. And now if I do get some money, I try and send it. That money is only being used to, quote unquote, to locate me, number one. And number two, it's not being sent where it needs to get sent to. I'm going home. Yeah. What's the phone number to get a flight home? I'm going home. And that's where these people need to be. That's where they emotionally need to be. They need to be afraid. They need to be scared. And I'm going to tell you what else I like. I like this signaling about DOGE. I think DOGE might be coming back. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think DOGE might be coming back. Remember, DOGE has been out of the news for damn near 4 or 5 months, right? Him and Trump had they fall out in July, right? August, September, October, November, December. 5 months. It's been about 5 months since Elon Musk and DOGE were outed out of the Donald Trump administration. Everybody's like, yay, I side with Trump. I side with Elon. Who are you with? And these idiots were being played and manipulated by Chinese bot accounts, and more importantly by Indian bot accounts, which I was saying back then. I was like, I don't understand why y'all siding with anybody. We need DOGE in there. But no, because everybody's emotional, and it was Pride Month. And I was explaining to you back then how pride played a role into this, and we were learning about what pride does. We were talking about dishonor and pride, and how when pride leads to dishonor, then dishonor leads to stagnation, delay, and all these other different ramifications and repercussions. And guess what? It manifested in the mission of DOGE to where it got shut down. Why? Because DOGE was cutting off real waste. Take a listen.
Fox to reveal what's really going on. DOGE exposed our immigration asylum disaster. That was the tip of the iceberg. Now here's the story. DOGE has found that immigration gave a work authorization document to illegals just 5 months after they filed for asylum. That document allowed them to work while they waited to hear whether their asylum request had been accepted or denied. So they could work as an illegal, knowing it would take years before their case was heard. The Immigration Department mailed them a Social Security number. No interview, no proof of identity. Just put it in the mail. Here's your number. In 2021, DOGE says 270,000 new aliens were issued Social Security numbers, 590,000 in 2022, 964,000 in 2023, and 2.1 million in 24, right before Biden left office. DOGE also discovered that 1.3 million aliens are now receiving Medicaid. Millions received driver's licenses, some registered to vote, and DOGE says some actually did vote. Try and square that against Democrat claims that Musk is destroying Social Security and cutting Medicaid. He's not destroying, he's weeding out people who don't qualify. Who is really guilty of misinformation in this case? It is not Elon Musk.
You know, it's good to see this. It's good to see I've been saying that either they needed to get rid of the Smith-Mons Act, and put it back in place where the CIA and the government could not manipulate the American people. Or if you're not going to get rid of it, you need to start manipulating the American people for their own good. It looks to me as if now we're getting ready to start turning on the weapon to help us, as opposed to allowing them to use that weapon to destroy us. That's just what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm getting. So the simple fact that we have the evidence that over 2.2 million illegal aliens, because that's 2.2 million on the way out the door. That's another 3 million. So let's say 3.8 million illegal aliens are documented being on the roads. Do you know what it means to have 3.8 million new people get Social Security numbers, and then for, let's just say, 200,000 of them settled into a major city? Let's say 200,000 of them settled into Austin, Texas. Or let's just say 50,000 of them settled into Austin, Texas. Really, 10,000 of them can sway an election unlike anything you've ever seen. They can sway a local election. 100,000 of them can sway a Congress or a Senate election. And so let's just hypothetically, let's say when they got their Social Security numbers, there was this war room set up by the Democratic Party, and they said, well, we're going to send this many people into this district, and this many people into this district, and this many people into this district. And then they relocated them to those districts via buses. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar to you? And then they got their Social Security number, and then they got their Medicare, and they got their Medicaid, and they got their Section 8 housing, and they got all their benefits. And then they were told, go out and vote. How do I know that the Democratic Party did this? How do I explain this to you without getting myself in any trouble? I'll just say this. In my hometown, there are people who would buy entire Section 8 apartment complexes. Those people will buy those complexes, put all the people in those complexes on Section 8, and they will consolidate an entire neighborhood by buying house after 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 house, one by one by one by one by one by one by one. And you know what they would do? They'll move all the Section 8 families in there. They'll get everything up and running. They'll give them nice accommodations. They'll come over and they would have conversations with their tenants. Be like, hey, Miss Johnson, you like living here? Oh, yeah, I love living here. It's a great neighborhood. Things are good. You like her? Okay. I need you to do me a favor. What can I do for you? When it's time to vote, we got somebody who helps us in this area. And we would appreciate it if you vote for this person. I'll be checking the rolls just to see who voted, but I would appreciate it. Now, think about it. If you got an apartment complex with 500 people living in it, 500 registered voters. Then you got up the street in the same district, you got a house with another 100 voters. And then around the corner, I mean, you got houses with another 100 voters. And then you got to remember, there's adults living in the houses with these people. So it's mama and her older son and older daughter. And you got 2-3 votes per household. Do you see how a local election can be swayed like that by someone who has a plan? Someone who's understands the belly of corruption. And that's without, that's without all this foolishness that can be done. That's just with a bank loan and property acquisition and the mindset that I want power. What happens when you open the floodgates like this? I'll tell you what happens, ladies and gentlemen. When you open the floodgates like this and you allow illegal aliens to come in, get driver's license, get social security numbers, you are allowing rampant fraud in election meddling and manipulation, in election fraud, quite frankly. And that's what we've gone through. That's why all over America, these people got to go. They got to go. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you I anticipate happening. I anticipate another one of them going to start blucker. One of these Afghans going to start killing. We working our way up to the point where we got 2 roads coming. We got a false flag coming down the pipeline where some National Guard person gets provoked or ICE person gets provoked and shoot somebody and they shoot a kid or something mistakenly happened, right? And then we got the natural progression of Islam in this nation where these Islamists getting ready to start blowing stuff up. You're finna be offended. Oh, you said something about Allah and you can't talk about my prophet Muhammad and now I'm going to blow you up and I'm going to kill you. When we hit that point, which we got to, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to see it happen, but we got to because we got a bunch of dumb leftists. We got to get to that point. When we hit that point, that's when it's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. I'm telling you. That's when you gonna see some sports out here in these streets because they ain't gonna leave us no choice. We getting there though, and I like it. I hate that blood had to be shed for us to get here, but it kind of makes sense that blood had to be shed for us to get here because, quite frankly, bloodshed is a part of it all. It was a bloodshed of Charlie Kirk that led to the revival that went on everywhere, and then, quite frankly, it was the Jewish community that came in and killed the revival with their crying and whining and, this person's not MAGA, that person's not MAGA. That died down. And then, and the reason why that died down, just so you recall, is because 30% of the Jews in New York voted for Mamdani. So I'm sorry, 30% of the Jewish people voted for Mamdani. Then we get the shooting in Washington, D.C., less than a mile away from the White House. And now the Trump administration is on offense. I like it. I hope you like it. I like it. We need it. Let's do it.